Christmas with the Cranks is an interesting Christmas movie to say the least. At the time of this recording, it has a whopping 5% on Rotten Tomatoes and isn't well received otherwise either. But it's kind of left me wondering if it was meant to be bad on purpose. I love a good bad movie. So it's always interesting when I watch a movie that a lot of people think is bad because there's like a good chance that I'll actually think is good. And that may be what happened with Christmas with the Cranks. Don't get me wrong, I'm likely never gonna watch this movie again.
What?
But is it 5% on Rotten Tomatoes bad? Is anything that bad? Funny enough, this movie came out in 2004. It's 2024, and that means that I watched it on its 20th anniversary, so it's 20 years old this year. What a time for me to be reviewing it. Now, when it comes to the storyline, there is so much going on and nothing going on all at the same time. This is a Christmas movie about Christmas versus being a movie about something else that takes place during Christmas time, if that makes sense. But there's no actual storyline here. They attempted at a storyline with the whole, we're gonna go on a cruise for Christmas. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a fantastic movie about a couple of empty nesters who are trying to figure out how to do Christmas now that their only child and daughter is no longer at home. This is gonna be a pretty funny, kind of like Adam Sandler-y type of film about two empty nesters who literally just wanna go on a cruise. And then the daughter surprises them by coming back home for Christmas, which why did she leave anyway? Because she literally just left. And then the entire movie becomes about making the house Christmassy enough for her.
Thought you were skipping Christmas this year, Mr. Crank.
Blair's coming home for Christmas. Plane arrives about 8 o'clock.
All right, people, listen up, gather round. We're about to have Christmas homecoming for Blair. Drop what you're doing and pitch in.
And my first thought was like, tell her grown ass no, like you already put down your deposit on the cruise, you're already planning to go, like you're literally leaving right now, you were leaving the house right now, and she wants to surprise you. Just tell her no, you already have plans, you'll see her next Christmas. I think I would have enjoyed this movie a lot more had it actually been about the two empty nesters going on a cruise for Christmas. I don't know why they didn't go that route. They could have kept the same name. It still could have been Christmas with the Cranks, sans the daughter. Hey y'all, it's Nae, welcome back to my little corner of YouTube. This video will contain spoilers for the 2004 film Christmas with the Cranks. If you haven't seen it yet, you've had 20 years, so I don't know where you've been, but if you don't want spoilers, save this video and come back after you do. You are about to hear my thoughts on Christmas with the Cranks, but of course I want to hear yours, so feel free to drop your thoughts below if you do want to participate in the conversation, and give this video a like before you go, so I know you enjoyed it. The neighbors are also strange AF in this movie. Living in this neighborhood is like living in a loop of a Christmas episode of The Twilight Zone. Eerily Christmassy. Why is everybody making it such a big deal that the Cranks don't want to do Christmas? It's like their entire personality is Christmas. I guess right now it kind of looks like my entire personality is Christmas, but I digress. We're not talking about me right now. Why are your neighbors this invested on what's going on in your household? Look, we all want to have neighbors who we like and we feel like we can talk to because it makes for a calmer and more peaceful neighborhood experience. Like, you should be able to be friendly, if not cordial, with your neighbors. But like, why are you worried about if I'm going out of town or not? Because last time I checked, you weren't paying bills at this address. I don't know. I thought the whole neighborhood was weird. It's like the HOA requirement was must be obsessed with Christmas, and if you're not, we're gonna force it down your throat. Sign right here on the dotted line. Welcome to the neighborhood. And this next thing is more of an old school trope, I would say, but they have this whole evil neighbor thing. Very much like the school bully or tattletale of the movie. His character throughout the whole film just kept reminding me of Randall from Recess, not in appearance, just in the fact that he's ready to jump in somebody's business and tell on them any second that he can.
So you're really skipping out.
You got it.
Somehow it just doesn't seem right.
Well, that's really not up to you to decide, is it?
But I gotta tell you, a lot of the neighbors are pretty upset.
Really?
Christmas has always been a neighborhood thing around here, you know that.
Yeah.
Everybody decorates, everybody bakes cookies and swaps gifts.
Also had his Christmas tree covered in American flags, and I'm gonna let it slide because this came out 20 years ago. Well, we all know what that represents in 2024. So as I was watching this, I was really trying to figure out why it is that a lot of people don't like this movie. And the very first thing that I noticed, and I was like, oh, this is the reason why, is that this movie has a lot of slapstick comedy. According to Backstage.com, slapstick comedy is a purposely exaggerated form of performance that can portray a cartoonish reality. In the world of slapstick, characters are constantly getting hurt, mugging their faces, gesticulating their limbs, all with a snappy flexibility that can reset at a moment's notice. Both the beauty and hilarity of slapstick comes from its visual nature. Ideally, all an audience member needs to do is watch a performer to understand the gag. Think Three Stooges, Dumb and Dumber, basically a type of comedy that you don't really see in 2024. If anyone can think of a slapstick comedy movie or even a TV show released in the last 5 years, let me know, because I can't think of one. So I think at that juncture, the movie feels a little dated. Of course, if you're going to watch it 20 years later, it's going to feel dated regardless. But there are some movies who can stand the test of time. I don't even know if Christmas with the Cranks was loved in 2004 when it came out. From the very beginning with that whole umbrella scene where he's like, I don't need an umbrella. And then he comes out of the store and water is just poured all over him.
I really think you need an umbrella!
No! You know why I don't want one of your stupid umbrellas? Because I got one! I couldn't get any sweater!
Very gimmicky, very slapsticky. There were people falling off of ladders. There's also the scene where the wife is running in the grocery store to try to get the last ham. Classic slapstick, if you ask me. And this isn't me being against slapstick. I can enjoy it when done right. One of my favorite movies, actually, Jim Carrey, of course, is Fun with Dick and Jane. And it's super slapsticky because it's Jim Carrey and that's kind of what he does best. Like, of my parents' generation, I would say that Jim Carrey, I mean, he's an all-around amazing comedian from his time in Living Color to all of his movies, but he's kind of a king of slapstick, I would say. So if you want to see it done right, watch some of his stuff. But when it comes to Tim Allen, I'm just not sure. And granted, I'm not that familiar with his career. I remember that he had Home Improvement. I've never seen an episode of Home Improvement. I don't know if that is slapstick comedy. Maybe he is good at it and it just didn't land in Christmas with the Cranks. And then we have Jamie Lee Curtis, who is a legend. So, you know, she's great. It's just something about the movie that's just off. And that's not really the only thing. I feel like the intro song went on way too long. Like it was going on and they were in the car talking. Why? They could have ended it like seconds before that. And then there was also that scene where everyone in the restaurant went quiet because a character said something crazy. The whole everyone gets quiet after a main character says something that's super shocking is not a new thing. It's in a lot of movies. You've seen it 1,000 times. And because we see it so often, I kind of feel like I know what it should look like and what it should sound like, and it was not this.
We're taking a break. 1 year off, no Christmas whatsoever.
Another random kind of note on the cast, though, I saw that Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle, I know that's not his name, but Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle was in it, and I thought that was pretty cool. He's always up to some shit he shouldn't be getting into. All of that, though, leads me to truly wonder if this movie is bad on purpose. I mean, 5% on Rotten Tomatoes is bad. Not that Rotten Tomatoes is the end-all be-all of rating systems, but obviously their ratings hold some weight. They've been at this for centuries, probably. I mean, the movie starts off with this terrible reef overlay. Granted, it's 2004, so maybe that just was all they had the ability to do. Literally, the very first scene of them sitting on the bed just staring into space because they know it's a sad day and their daughter is leaving. I get that they were trying to go for like this melancholy feeling, but it just looks awkward. Look, maybe I already went into this already prejudging it because I knew that it was rated poorly and I was like hyper focused on it. That's always a possibility, so we'll leave a little room for error for that. I feel like I am back in statistics class and I am having flashbacks. Then there's the outrageous product placement of the Starbucks Solo Cup. Like, you can literally tell that he's holding it just to show the label. And again, now that we know that companies do that, I could just be using my 2024 brain, or I could be using my marketing brain because I have a marketing degree, so I know how products are placed in movies. Maybe. But he was very awkwardly holding that cup and I was like, this is clearly product placement. Like, they didn't even try to be subtle with it. And then there was this very old and choppy attempt at a montage.
Welcome, United States. Hand me those bags.
Austin from Ireland.
Is this how y'all were making montages in 2004? I didn't cut it like that. That's how it actually is in the actual movie. That has to be on purpose, right? There's no way that a director, a producer, and an editor all watched that and didn't say, this looks absolutely like hot garbage. Let's keep it in, if it wasn't on purpose. And then what exactly is this musical scene and why is it in here? It reminds me of that musical scene. I don't know if anybody watches South Park, but they had that episode where like the flute bands of the world or something, like I forget what they were called, and they were all just like popping up everywhere. That's what this music scene in Christmas with the Cranks reminded me of. It's like they just spawned and they just decided that they were just gonna have a music scene because somebody wanted to show off that they had been learning guitar or something. I don't know, it was weird. And then the last thing, why does this movie have a magical Santa? Literally, this is not a fairy tale type of movie. And to put a magical Santa in like the last 20 minutes of the movie, really the last 5 minutes, because you don't find out that he's Santa until like the end of the movie. And have this cringy ending with him flying away with Rudolph and, I was about to say the 7 dwarfs, with the Rudolphs and the rest of the reindeers. Like, why was Santa in this movie? Why was Santa in this movie? It's like they just... To me, this movie has to be a parody because they took every Christmas trope that you could think of and they smashed it into Christmas with the Cranks. And they said, here's your Christmas movie. And then people were like, This is not good. I think we have lost the plot. I actually think whoever wrote this and directed this and produced this had the plot top of mind. We just thought that they weren't being cringy on purpose. And I'm gonna go with they were, because otherwise this movie makes no sense. I know I said I'm a bad movie lover, but there are definitely levels to this shit. Christmas with the Kranks is not a good bad movie. Unless it was meant to be bad on purpose. In which case, it's a fantastic bad movie and we should all celebrate it and it should go down in history as one of the best bad Christmas movies. But if I'm looking at it from the point of view of it wanting to be taken seriously, I think we all know why I got that 5%. The way it goes, I will not be giving this a rewatch for a very long time, if ever. But let me know your thoughts on it and I'll see you in the next one. Merry Vlogmas! This video, that classic slapstick. Classic. And then there was also that scene where... I'll just say that. And then there's the outrageous product.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We